everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm JJ. That's Aiken. We are your internet dads, and we meet here Monday through Friday to talk about stuff. And you know, this morning I saw an interesting video. It's kind of long. We might show it. We'll talk about it in a minute. Is it there?
Yeah, you're good.
High, low?
The level went back down. We were having some audio and technical problems this morning, and it seems like you're really low now.
Now I'm low.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, there you are. Hello. Well, we can turn it down. That's good. You're good. I just want to be able to hear you.
Yeah, I'm done. All right.
How is Texas this morning? Are y'all getting?
Let me just say.
Yeah.
I realized that like Florida, Georgia, you guys are getting wrecked by the storm over there, but it has pulled all of the pressure out of Texas. So it is 68 degrees and it is low pressure and it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, my wife and I were just talking about it. It's beautiful outside.
Yeah, it felt great outside yesterday. It really did. There was no humidity. I mean, it was real low, like you said, low pressure. The wind was kind of blowing. But I had read there was some of those towns in Florida, they were telling them if you didn't evacuate by last night, just take a permanent marker and write your social security number and your name and your information on your body somewhere so it will be easier to identify you. If you, and he was telling them that they were saying, look, if you chose to stay, you better write this stuff down on your arm or somewhere with a permanent marker. Because it's getting bad. And I was watching a Weather Channel thing yesterday, and you know how they have the 3D screens behind them and whatnot? They were showing, the guy was standing there, and they have like the screens behind him, and they kind of curve around and whatnot, so he kind of stands in a screen. It looks really cool, but they had water coming up behind him, and he was showing what 3 feet, what 6 feet, what 10 feet, you know, and it was like,
oh, really?
We're like, whoa. What?
I saw I mean, the videos are all over the place of, people riding up and down the streets in Florida in boats or whatever.
I was watching a bunch of live TikToks. Did you make me here? Let me show you. This is just, I did already. Yeah, you did. This is just our region right now. That's what. Okay. And
Kentucky.
This is the hang on, let me go over to the actual National Weather Service page. This is the, can you see here's the boot heel of Tennessee, right, or Missouri right here. This is Tennessee, this is Kentucky, this is Illinois, this is Indiana over here.
Okay.
So all right. I'm about right here. And normally the jet stream comes this way. It comes from the south out towards the east. This is how it goes right through here. So to see it going this way is really freaky. Yeah, I was watching it this morning because I look at the weather every single day, and I have for years because it's my job. And it's just really freaky seeing the storms move this way because they always move the opposite way, always.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy watching that this morning.
Well, so I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff. So it's kind of like. Should I be grateful for the great weather that I'm having? I mean, how do you like I kind of feel bad because I'm like, the weather is wonderful here, but I know that people are dying. And I'm sure that there are people that stayed home because they thought they could weather the storm.
Oh yeah. I was watching this guy in his house last night and it was filling up and it was getting closer. He said, he was like, I can't believe I still have electricity. He said, because all of his cameras, and he was like, I'm still going to stream live for as long as I can. And he said, years ago, we moved all the electrical outlets up, and he was showing on the wall where his electrical outlets were up on the wall up here. He said, but we didn't move them all. And he switched and he looked down and there was one down on the corner and it was getting up to the plate.
That's not good.
Yeah. And you could see outside of his door, his glass door, the water was higher outside of his door than it was in his house. And he said, once this hits, it'll blow a breaker and you may see a guy alive electrocuted on TikTok. And I watched for a long time, but I shut it off. I know. I don't understand. I don't understand why people were. I was like, why are you in your house? Well, break the door, let it flood in, get out.
You knew. Just leave the door open. Don't even break the glass. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I do have a little minute and a half weather here that I wanted to. This is some weather that I wanted to share with you here this morning since we are talking about Hurricane Helene.
Hurricane Helene is set to make landfall tonight in Florida and the Tampa area. And guys, it's not looking good. 105-mile-per-hour winds. And look at the name of the hurricane, Helene. Coincidentally, that's my ex-wife's name. Our divorce was finalized this week. And if this thing is anything like her, it's going to take your car. It's going to take your house. It's going to ruin your damn life. All right, probably blow the neighbors too. But I digress. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry to put my air out on the air, but it's been a rough week. And guess what? If you're in this area right here, the Tampa area, you're going to have a rough week as well. Okay, and by the way, another coincidence, her mom and dad, Helene's mom and dad are from Tampa. So, hey, John, Marge, you're going to feel it too. You're going to feel the wrath of Helene like I have for the past 4 years. It's going to be aggressive. And you know what?
That's
maybe,
funny.
Just maybe, if we're lucky, this thing is going to catch some of the illegals that the Biden-Harris administration let in and fling these Mexicans back into Mexico, right? You want to talk about deportation? That'd be the best way to do it. And look at this. Guys, this is not good, all right? Tampa, why the hell are you living in Tampa anyway? Let's be honest. Who wakes up and goes, you know, honey, let's move to Tampa? Helene's mom and dad, that's who, and it's coming.
Okay, so that's Jim accosted, and he was very upset. Wait, he makes a
Guys,
joke at the
so this
very
is
end.
going to be aggressive. By the way, I've never even seen purple before. Have we ever seen purple on the show? This is not good. And what the
Right
hell
here.
is that? This can't be good. You know what that looks like? That right there? That looks like Satan's butthole. And there he is. And if you live there, you're going to feel the wrath, just like how I felt the wrath of Helene. So, Robert, Mike, thank you guys so much for raising a daughter that ruined my life. If you're in Tampa, get the hell out. I'm done.
There's no way that that's live TV.
No, that's
He's
not
floating
live.
around by he's just a joke.
No,
but it's
just
funny.
a joke. It's funny. Yeah.
I mean, I saw waves, storm surge waves crashing against piers right under a house. I'm like, that house is gonna fall over. I saw a security camera from outside. You know, some people have like ring security cameras kind of looking down on their porch. The water was 6 feet high. It was like right up the top of the door, and it was rushing against the house. So, there's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a disaster zone.
Let me just see right now. Oh, hang on. Let me mute this guy. Let me see this. I'm just going through the TikTok lives right now just to see if there's any. I'm sure there is, but it's, recommending all this other crap to me. And see if I can find. I was just going to see. I was watching a bunch last night. They were coming through my live. So here, let me just type for Helene. Is that right? Helene? Yeah, Helene. And see if I can bring up somebody that's live right now.
Oh, I got one here. Here.
Do you?
I don't know if it's live or not, but I got one here. Let's see here. Share this page. Here you go. Here you go, Deke.
Okay.
This is yesterday in Florida. Average Florida type stuff.
That's hilarious.
Running.
What? That's hilarious. What?
All right. I see that you're cracked up by that. Okay.
The boat.
Yeah.
All
right. So there's some people out there saying that the storm, suggesting that the storm is not natural. Look at this. Now, I don't know who Matt Wallace is, but rumors are circulating about the true origin.
Matt Wallace likes to spread freaking. This is coming from me, conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Lord
of the world.
Yeah,
Matt Wallace likes to spread a lot of stuff that I'm like, dude, you're stretching on that one. But look at it again. It's very interesting. And if you haven't seen some of the stuff from the island off of south of Africa, when they're doing some weird, there is some weird weather crap that happens off of that. But I have heard several weathermen say, they'll go, this was a Category 1 right just a couple of days ago, just yesterday. It was a Category 1, and now they're thinking that this is going to be a major Category 4, devastating. And I heard the one weather guy was like, I've never seen anything like this happen before. So it's very interesting. They said that this would do a flood.
I don't buy
areas like once in a century floods.
It is having a devastating effect on the people. Like the places are getting totally wrecked. But I don't believe this kind of stuff. I think it's just weather.
No.
Crazy
I mean, if you would like for me to give you examples on how weather manipulation is absolutely possible, I would be glad to, and I will show you the freaking what is it? The government page. If me and you wanted to create a weather modification device, we have to get it approved by the government, and it has to follow all these certain rules. So if our device is going to be seeding clouds and stuff, I've got it in my phone.
Really?
I've got the government page that shows you, hey, if you're going to create a weather modification device, you have to follow these rules and you have to register it with us. Is basically what the page says, and it lists all the rules that you have to follow. And if you go down and look at it, one of the rules is cloud seeding.
Right. I mean, I've seen cloud seeding before, and even like hitting clouds with like lasers and stuff like that. I mean, that's stuff that we can do.
There's all kinds of stuff that we've been doing for years that they have brainwashed us into thinking that it's good for us. And people like me have always asked why, and we're friends with people like you, and you're like, I think that's a bunch of horse crap. And we're like, no, it's not a bunch of horse crap. And then 15 years later, they come out and they're like, oh, wow, wait a minute. Maybe my buddy Deacon was right. Let me give you a prime example coming through the news today. This is something that I have said for over 20 years. I'm 47 years old, and I know I've been saying this for 30 years at least. Okay. I have gotten into arguments with dental assistants because when my children were younger, I would bring them in and I would bring non-fluoride cleaning and toothpaste. And I would say, if you're going to clean their teeth, will you use this instead of the stuff that you use here in the office? And I have had some get mad at me because I wanted to use a non-fluoride toothpaste because I thought fluoride hampered brains. Okay. And I didn't want to get into it, but this is what that I have always believed, that it screws with your freaking brains. We all did that crap in elementary school every single freaking year. They would come in with the little paper cups and the pink fluoride that tasted like bubble gum, and they'd always be like, don't swallow it, don't swallow it. Most, if not all, of your toothpastes have fluoride in it. Well, this from the AP this morning. Let me bring you on.
I'll stop sharing.
Fluoride in drinking water poses enough risk to merit a new EPA action, a judge says. A federal judge has ordered the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to further regulate fluoride in drinking water because high levels could pose a risk to the intellectual development of children. It's not certain that the amount of fluoride typically added to water is causing lower IQs in kids, but he concluded that the mounting research points to an unreasonable risk that it could be. He ordered the EPA to take steps to lower that risk, but it didn't say what those measures would be. It's the first time a federal judge has made a determination about the neurodevelopmental risks to children of the recommended U.S. water fluoride level.
Wow. So
this researcher studied the effect of higher fluoride levels in pregnant women. So I'm sure this will get squashed, but
it'll probably get on appeal or something like that. But I mean, I think maybe this is a good example of why maybe we shouldn't have federal regulations per se. Maybe every state should be doing this themselves, and then we could actually have like A/B testing. We could be like, well, some of these states, they don't have fluoride, some of them do, and then here's you'd be able to actually stratify and maybe draw some conclusions. But when every state has to abide by the federal rule, and the federal rule doesn't make any sense, or maybe it relies on a bunch of assumptions, but we have no way to A/B test things and see what's actually better. So I mean, like, maybe we don't need federal regulations, and we really don't need federal pressure on state agencies making regulations, but rather states ought to be making these decisions on their own. which puts a lot of burden and onus on state lawmakers, but they're all shifting it up to the federal lawmakers and federal agencies who are either captured, like RFK Jr. We'll talk about the CDC, or we'll talk about the FDA.
So what if this concerns me because
in fact, fluoride and water tables and stuff is something that we talked about a few times before. There's something like 80,000 different municipal water supplies, and most of them have fluoride in the water, but most of them have fluoride in the water because local municipalities, they make these decisions, but they look at something like the FDA and they're like, well, they said to do this, so this is what we're going to do.
It probably has something to do with that damn law that just got repealed not too long ago. The one that basically said that if me and you were just an organization and we're like, oh, this thing, we need fluoride in water levels. And they go, well, the government says, well, JJ and Deacon are the experts, so that's a law. What was that law called that just, we
Right.
talked about it on the show. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
It was about the farmers. And anyway, what bothers me about this whole thing is that 20 years ago, if I was saying this, what I was saying about fluoride, I think it causes this and blah, blah, blah. And those people were getting it. That one woman, that one dental assistant, she got so mad at me that I didn't want my daughter to get her teeth cleaned by her because she was upset that I wanted her to not use her product and use this crap
Right.
that I brought in, please. And she got mad, and it's making me think in that situation now in 2024, I would be labeled as that would be misinformation.
Okay, so
Would be thrown in jail.
let's say you're right that fluoride is linked to some negative health outcomes in people.
In your brain.
Okay, and let's also assume that it's true that fluoride combats some other negative health effects, like, I don't know, rotten teeth or whatever, like whatever it does, it protects against. Somebody made the decision that these negative outcomes outweigh the other ones, and you don't get to weigh in on that decision.
And that's what I'm saying. That was that law. I cannot remember that law. I don't remember. But it was basically the organization, says this. The government says, oh, well, those guys are the experts. Let's take their recommendations, and that's what we're going by. It's just some random people's freaking expert. What's the damn law? It'll hit me here in a minute. I'm having one of those mornings where I can't remember.
Yep. Okay.
All right, we can move on. I just saw that
Let's
story
go.
come up this morning. I'm like, oh, well, mark one up for the Deacon conspiracy theories.
All right, we are going to get into the topic of who's the real enemy. We're going to get to that. And you know what? This is a stepstone in the story. Want to let you guys know that the House has passed a 3-month funding bill, and it avoids the government shutdown. So we have prevented the government shutdown by spending a bunch of money. And it went to the Senate, and it's going to the president,
Chuck,
I believe.
Scroll up. If Chuck U. Schumer says this is how things should be done without brinksmanship, what is that? Brinkmanship without delay.
Brinkmanship. Yeah.
What the hell does that word mean?
Brinkmanship means pushing it right up to the boundary, right up to the line, even like crossing the line of the shutdown. I think your shutdown would have happened like at the beginning of October, usually the fiscal year. House Representatives passed a bill to keep the government funded for 3 months on Wednesday, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to come back in 3 months, and then they're going to pass some god-awful, enormous omnibus bill, and there's going to be no amendments. There's going to be of any substance. There's going to be no actual law of any substance. There's going to be tons of money at every single organization that you don't want, and it's going to be all stuffed into one bill, because that's how the United States Congress pretends to be democratic now. In a 341 to 82 vote, that's all your Republicans too. Congress ensured the government will avoid an end-of-month shutdown. 2 months. Two of Johnson's most outspoken critics, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, both voted against the measure, and some other Republicans, 80 Republicans, maybe, 15% of Congress, perhaps. So this is going to go get signed, and it doesn't include the SAVE Act. It doesn't include any provisions for ensuring our election security. You know, like this Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. So just make sure that only citizens can vote. They couldn't even get that in there. They could not even get that in there. So now, but JJ, we have like several more months. We're like we can get some more stuff done. Maybe this will let us actually negotiate. Well, according to Laura Loomer, Congress is off for another vacation. Yesterday was the last official working day until the 2024 election, and they don't come back until November 13th. So they have no interest in doing anything they ever promise. They are all the bad guys, and you will see us back on this show in November saying, here they are, they're working on an omnibus behind closed doors. It's going to include funding for the military, funding for Ukraine. Oh, you can better believe there's going to be some billions in there for Ukraine. So who's the bad guys? Is it the Republicans? Is it the Democrats? Is it both? I wonder. Do you ever wonder who the actual bad guys are, Deacon?
Yeah, I know who the bad guys are, and it's not the Republicans or Democrats.
They're both just cogs. They're all just cogs.
We're watching a beautiful play. Okay? Yeah. We're watching a beautiful marionette play. You've got thousands of different marionettes. Sometimes this one comes up front and then it steps to the back. Sometimes this one comes up front and does its little dance and entertains you, and it steps to the back. But it's all a beautiful, orchestrated, put together marionette play. So you have to imagine with thousands of marionettes, that is thousands and thousands and thousands of strings constantly moving, constantly doing this, but they can't get tangled up, because if they get tangled up, every marionette will fall. So you have to be very precise with your movements, okay, to make the marionettes dance in order to entertain all the masses. So you don't see the puppet masters that are hiding above, moving their hands, moving them this way, weaving their magic, making sure that none of the strings, and sometimes the strings do get caught and people, and sometimes they fall. Sometimes it doesn't go, the play doesn't go like it's supposed to, but the puppet master is always controlling. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
And there's not, so hang on just a second. That outfit looks great. I love it. Okay, so it's not like there's like one bad guy, or it's one, I don't know. What was that? What was that guy on The Simpsons? The guy that ran the power plant, and it's Mr. Burns. It's not like there's a couple of Mr. Burnses out there. It's much worse than that. It's much worse than that, because the cabal of bad guys that have interests. It's not that they're bad guys. They just have interests, and your interests are not part of their interests. They have an interest in keeping the machine working because they benefit from the machine. So anybody that benefits from the machine has interest in keeping the machine working. So I have this video. It's a few minutes long. You didn't watch it, did you? You didn't watch it?
No. If we can watch it on the show, I mean, that's fine. If you want to watch as much as you want, I'll listen to it.
Well, I think he approaches this from a way that maybe we'll both agree on, but I kind of want to get your feeling on some of this. So I'm going to play this. This is Eric Weinstein.
Okay.
If you can hear it, can you hear it?
No.
No?
No.
Hear it? Hang on. Let me try again.
It looks like it's muted down at the bottom of the screen.
No, it's not muted. But Rumble does this sometimes on the when you switch from tab to tab or whatever, it just stops doing audio. All right.
National order. It's an interlocking series of agreements, tacit understandings, explicit understandings, clandestine understandings about how the most important structures keep the world free of war and keep markets open. And there has been a system in place, whether understood explicitly or behind the scenes or implicitly, it says that the purpose of the two American parties is to prune the field of populist candidates so that whatever two candidates exist in a face-off are both acceptable to that world order. So what you're trying to do from the point of view, let's take it from the point of view of, let's say, the State Department, the intelligence community, the Defense Department, and major corporations that have to do with international issues, from arms trade to, food. They have a series of agreements that are fragile and could be overturned if a president entered the Oval Office who didn't agree with them, and the mood of the country was, why do we pay taxes into these structures? Why are we hamstrung? Why aren't we a free people?
Yep.
So what the two parties would do is that they would run primaries. You'd have populist candidates, and you'd pre-commit the populist candidates to support the candidates who won the primaries. As long as that took place and you had two candidates that were both acceptable to the international order, that is, that they aren't going to rethink NAFTA or NATO or what have you, we called that democracy. And so democracy was the illusion of choice, what's called magician's choice, where the choice is not actually, pick a card, any card, but somehow the magician makes sure that the card that you pick is the one that he knows. In that situation, you have magician's choice in the primaries, and then you'd have the duopoly field, two candidates, either of which was acceptable, and you could actually afford to hold an election. And the populace would vote, and that way the international order wasn't put at risk every 4 years, because you can't have alliances that are subject to the whim of the people in plebiscites. So under that structure, everything was going fine until 2016. And then the first candidate ever to not hold any position in the military nor position in government in the history of the Republic to enter the Oval Office.
Sounds true to you?
Broke through the primary structure. So then there was a full court press. Okay, we only have one candidate that's acceptable to the international.
That's why they're trying to get rid of him so bad.
Donald Trump will be under constant pressure that he's a loser, he's a wild man, he's an idiot, and he's under the control of the Russians. And then he was going to be a 20-1 underdog, and then he wins. And there was no precedent for this. They learned their lesson. You cannot afford to have candidates who are not acceptable to the international order and continue to have these alliances. This is an unsolved problem. So I don't have a particular dog in this fight. I believe in democracy. I also believe in international agreements.
I'm going to pause it for just a second.
And it is the job of the...
Okay, so if you'll accept this premise for a second, and in one hand, hold this in your mind. And the other hand, you think all the contention between the Republicans and the Democrats, between Kamala and Trump, or Biden and Trump, or Trump and RFK Jr., or any of the primary voter, any of the candidates in the primary. If you think that trying to solve the problem in America is like, oh, we have to get rid of electoral college, or it's, oh, we have too many Democrats running, in urban areas or whatever, you're solving the wrong problem. Because they've already rigged the whole thing so that no matter how you do that, they are going to get candidates that support the big machine.
Yeah.
And it is because we are not we're not a sovereign country anymore. At some point along the way, we gave up our sovereignty.
And we've talked about this before, and I've pointed out that the chess game goes even further down than that, because for years and years, for decades now, they have been putting in people in positions of power in smaller governments, in your local governments, in your state governments. They have been putting in people of power and making sure those people get to positions of power from smaller, your school board member guy that you don't agree with. One day he could be governor.
Well, you're attorney general. You got important positions in your state that affect everything. But these guys are, you throw them a little bit of money and they're going to work for the guy that funds their campaigns.
Absolutely. There is I'm not going to say his name, and he's a state person, a state elected official that lives in my county. He was a former law enforcement person.
Yeah.
For years and years. And he was on the boards of some places. And now he's been a state elected official for a while. And he's got more money than God. You are to see this guy's house. And it's like, I know what you used to do for a living for 30 years.
Yeah. How'd you get so wealthy?
Yeah. Well, where did this house come from?
So, a lot of times I bag on Democrats because they're stupid, and we bag on Republicans because they're stupid, or, very obvious bad policies, bad ideas, things that are going to harm us kind of locally. And we often kind of play at these, domestic or national politics kind of levels. But I think what Eric Weinstein is saying here is as about as good a way to encapsulate this idea that there is.
Can we go back to? There we go.
Oh, just us. Yeah.
I just want while you're talking.
Yeah, there's
we don't have much time left. I figured we could put that link in the Discord server, and I want to watch it over there.
Yeah. It's
that was very interesting. He's saying exactly what we say.
The machine is the enemy. The Democrats are just a cog in the machine, and they can be swapped out for a different cog.
Oh yeah. I've got one here for you. I don't know if you actually saw this. I was going through TikTok. I saw this. I thought this was very interesting because I had not heard of this anywhere, and this woman just kind of stumbled across this. All right, listen to what she says.
Do you know what happened on September 18th, 2024 in the House of Representatives?
Yeah.
Well, neither did I, but my son was doing a project on it, and he showed me this last night. The violence against women by illegal aliens that commits a crime.
I was trying to get rid of my camera so that you could actually see what she was saying.
Just minimize the video. Just minimize it, but just don't make it so big. Yeah.
There we go. I'm going to rewind her a little bit. Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act.
Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act. It says that any illegal alien that commits a crime of domestic violence, sexual offense, child abuse, stalking, makes them ineligible to be able to become citizens. How many Democrats would you think would vote against that? 158 Democrats said nay. Why would anybody vote against allowing illegal aliens to become citizens if they had committed any of these crimes? I really don't understand. If you are a member of the Democratic Party, can you please provide an explanation of why 158 of the Democrats in the House of Representatives would vote against this? What does that say about your party?
The answer. I'll give you the answer. The answer is this. In the same way that Democrats don't have to give anything to blacks because blacks vote overwhelmingly, like 85 to 95% majority in Democrats all the time, they don't have to give blacks anything. And for the same reason, they don't have to give women anything. They don't have to actually protect women because women vote in the majority, 55 to 60% women vote for Democrats. They don't have to protect you. You know what they do need? They need to import some more Democrat votes. That's what they need. They don't care about you, and they never did.
Yeah, because there's a story I saw on X this morning. I think Elon Musk retweeted it from the Los Angeles Times or the Washington Times, and it was that the United States is fast tracking citizenship applications for people. They're just fast tracking them, and I know people. I'm friends with people that are legal citizens in this country now because they went through the proper process. And it took them a while, and I would be pissed off if I was them.
I saw. Do you know why? Do you know why the people in? Okay, so in places like Springfield, although it's all over the place, there are people where they have been in a lot of car accidents, especially with like Haitians, because they apparently don't have cars, so they don't know how to drive, so they're learning here. A lot of car accidents, a lot of car wrecks caused by Haitians, a lot of people injured. They don't have insurance, illegal immigrants causing car wrecks. They're not getting tickets. They're not getting citations. And I stumbled upon a reason why. Apparently, if you give them a citation, a misdemeanor, and they get 2 misdemeanors, it triggers a deportation hearing. So to keep people from getting automatically triggered for a deportation hearing, they're not giving them citations. They're not giving them misdemeanors.
Well, we here's an update on another story that we talked about, I think, this week. Last week when we were talking about, we had 2 different pictures of receipts from illegal immigrants that have their EBT cards and the thousands of dollars on the receipts and stuff. There's a lot of those going around. This video was shared with me, and you can tell, I mean, this is just some, let me refresh it because it's Instagram. And
tell you personally that when I worked at the grocery store and I cashed them out, the receipts were alarming. $13,000 on EBT food, not including the $29,000 that was on EBT cash.
They had $30,000 on their EBT cash balance left.
Yes.
And as a cashier, you can see that.
Yes.
And you're like, holy shit, what do you have 30 grand on
It's infuriating.
on one person's car?
It's infuriating. Yes, sir.
So they're not getting 600.
And while they're dressed very well, very well, how are you able to dress like that? Coming over here as running for help that we're supposedly helping them, how are you dressed like that when we, the American people, are scrapping for the next set of work boots? That's a problem. That's a serious problem.
it's everywhere, man. And nobody's talking about it.
There's a lot of layers to why that woman is
Everybody
upset.
thinks,
Oh,
that's some bull crap, JJ. That's bull crap. We're not doing that. That's bull crap.
Yeah.
What's on TV? Is the football game on? I'm not talking about that. I'd rather talk about the Ravens.
There's things to be upset about. Like I personally don't really want to be upset that somebody has something and I don't have something. But on the other hand, you can really be upset about the fact that
you work hard.
Money out of our pockets.
You work hard for your children and your family, and
I get that too. So there's definitely some multiple layers to it. All right, I got an update on the Fani Willis, Nathan Wade situation. As you recall, Fani Willis charged Donald Trump with some BS crimes and had her boyfriend / lead prosecutor get a bunch of monies from the public. And then you played a video last week where Fani Willis's kid got into a traffic incident, and Fani Willis and her, not boyfriend, Nathan Wade, both turned up at the crime scene. Kind of interesting. Well, it turns out the House Oversight Committee, I believe it's a House Oversight Committee, wants to talk to Mr. Wade. And so they put out they're trying to deliver a summons to him so that he can, it's a House Judiciary Committee, so that he can appear before the Judiciary Committee. And Mr. Willis seems to have up and disappeared himself. So there is a manhunt underway by U.S. Marshals for Nathan Wade, Fani Willis's lover boy and former Fulton County lead investigator in the Trump lawfare case. Jesse Waters had a pretty funny statement about this, but the committee issued this subpoena on Friday, attempted to serve the subpoena to Nathan Wade's lawyer, who declined. And subsequently, the committee tried to serve the subpoena via email to Nathan Wade himself. Never heard back. As a result, the committee has had to use the assistance of the U.S. Marshals, who have also not been able to find Nathan Wade. So Nathan Wade is in the wind. He's previously a special prosecutor. Wade is a subject of a search by Marshall after his failure to appear for a subpoena issued by the Judiciary Committee, which is investigating the case. Fani Willis.
Fanny.
Mm-hmm. Fanny. Did they check at Fanny's house? They should check at Fanny's house. He's probably over there trying to get some reimbursements from her cash, because she keeps a lot of cash on hand in case she needs to spend money and make reimbursements. All right, so there's this last thing, and we haven't really been talking about it too much, but I mean, you can't really not see what's going on here. According to his lawyer, Sean Puff Daddy Combs wants to testify at his own sex trafficking trial. Oh my God!
Look,
think he's-
from every single thing that I have been reading and seeing about this and interviews and whatnot, this is very much looks like a smoke screen. You know, this, yeah, this like Hollywood, politicians, music, a lot of people are going to be implicated, they say, but it's really looking like a smoke screen. Hang on, I got to talk on the radio.
I'm curious what you mean about that, because from what I can gather, it seems that Sean Combs may have been the rap industry Jeffrey Epstein, collecting videotapes and surveillance footage of people doing bad things to compromised people, drugging women and having
Oh no, it goes
lots of kind of things on.
way nastier, deeper than that. It's pretty.
You're gonna have to give me an illustration, because my understanding is he's the Jeffrey Epstein of the rap world, and so many people are connected to him and to this thing that if he goes down, they go down. There's a great likelihood that he's going to get Epsteined.
From what I understand from everybody talking about this, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs had sexual relations with a lot of major people, men, not men and women, but a lot of major people that you would be like, nuh-uh.
Yeah,
a lot. And there's all these videos coming out of the past, interviews of the past, of where something was brought up, and you'll see how they acted around them. And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about a bunch. On the Ellen show, on the Kelly Clarkson show, there was one where on the Kelly Clarkson show, she was bringing up something, and I think it was Kevin Hart, and he basically told her to shut up because those people were sitting in the audience. Like you could tell he got really uncomfortable. There was an old interview from the late 90s or early 2000s with Dre and Snoop. And Dre said in the interview, he was like, yeah, somebody stole one of our private tapes. And Snoop, you could tell, got immediately concerned on this interview. And he was like, what? And he was like, no. And Dre was trying to play it off. He's like, yeah, it's one, private, that we don't, and Snoop was just kind of like, you could tell he was very, very, very uncomfortable with this tape. A lot of major record executives, Hollywood stars, superstar, major hip hop, or not just hip hop, but major artists. It goes deep. This thing is, and let me tell you, if you get into it and want to look more into it, you better leave your you're gonna hear some pretty gross stuff, man.
Yeah. So anyway, he wants to speak at his own trial. He wants to testify. I think he's flying a flag out there and be like, you guys keep this up. I'm gonna spill the beans. I'm gonna talk. And that's I don't know. We'll see what this says. But
they said, they're making that baby oil joke when they raided his place and whatnot. They found all that baby oil and all that baby oil, and they're making a baby oil joke. I heard that it's not baby oil, that it is like it's a drug. It's like Molly or one of them that they have. It's one of those ecstasy type drugs or something that they were able to mix in the oil and create this oil-like thing, so that they just rub it. They ought to be able
to like test that. They can chemically test that right now. We should know that in no time.
Yeah.
Angelino is Angifilio, whatever. Mark whatever. This guy, Mark.
Right, Mark.
That's his Manhattan assistant district attorney, former Manhattan assistant district. He's going to defend him in court. Yeah, and this guy says, I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story, and I think he will tell every part of his story.
I think this is a tactic that is this is a tactic. This is a chess move, because now with him saying that right there, you make a lot of people uncomfortable, and you force those people to make moves first. Okay. Yep. By doing this, you first of all, you're seeing what happened. You've seen what happened with Puff Daddy, and then you see the first people to react. You had all kinds of people that were deleting crap from their Twitter and Facebook and all their social medias. Usher deleted like 7,000 freaking tweets or something like that.
He did.
They're covering all this stuff up and giving you a reason. Oh, well, they did this. Pink done this for this, and they did this for this. Okay, that's fine. Don't pee on my head and try to explain to me that it's rain. Okay, I don't buy it all the time. It's just very funny. So you force people to make a move. Now with this is step 2. You say this, and you force the second layer of people to make moves. And then the only move left to make is to actually testify, and then you force the third layer and the final layer of people, the final holdouts, to finally make their move.
He's
not at all.
This is either, and he may be putting this out there as a negotiation tactic,
absolutely,
possibly to try to save his own life.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he may be trying to get the DA's office or whoever is running to like make me an offer, make me a plea deal. And, let's not take this to court, because if this goes to court, if this goes to trial, then I'm bringing everybody's bodies with me. So, I mean, who knows? Or maybe Puff Daddy is one singular bad guy, and he got away with all kinds of insane, crazy stuff on his own, and there's nobody connected at all. Maybe that's true.
He is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center Center in Brooklyn, a federal jail notorious for its violence and poor inmate care.
That's the same jail that Epstein, An
11th accuser has come forward as he's awaiting trial. So there you go. There's the music industry has been alive for years and years and years and years. I wanted to get back to this. Ashley's comments are not all showing up. We're having problems with Rumble today.
No, we're not on that. We're not on the.
They were coming up late, so we were in the middle of something. Okay. We were in the middle of something else talking, and then she said this about when we were talking about fluoride at the beginning of the show. Fluoride. Yeah.
I don't know how you get it to pin at the top. How'd you do that?
I don't know. I hit the pin.
Look, what happens if I do it? Look. Oh, it is at the top. That's interesting. Yeah. Sometimes it sticks out on the bottom. Oh, you know why? On that other page, it's because like we're at the bottom, and then it sticks it down there with us.
I don't know.
That's dumb. I need to tell whatever that I listen. All right. And 50 Cent thinks this stuff's all hilarious because he never got in there with Diddy Combs, and he's now producing a documentary series on Netflix about the Sean Combs case. So apparently Diddy and Combs are not buddies.
No, they never have been. You should hear some of the stuff that he said about him over the years.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. It is. Do we got anything else? We covered the Nathan Wade thing. Last thing for the day. Joe Biden is currently revising his own history, and he is now telling people that he dropped out of the 2024 race because he had so much success. I think that's a great way to start our joke segment of the day. So, he's such a massive success that he dropped out of the race. Sure. It wasn't at all because he was blackmailed and declined.
I think that wins joke of the day right there. I don't know if we need to even tell any. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that because that makes JJ feel a lot better. And then come over to our Discord server and join our Discord server because that makes JJ feel better as well. And you can talk.
It does. It does. Yeah. You can hang out and talk to us.
Yeah. All right. Give me a joke.
Yeah. How about this? DK, have you ever thought, especially as this weather's coming on, the weather changes, you get the little congestion, get a little get a little in your neck, you know, in your throat, you know what I mean? You get a little
Yeah.
frog in your throat, and
Yeah.
sore throats or real pain in the neck. I paid them off.
Don't laugh at that. We started the show talking about Hurricane Helene and meteorologists and stuff like that. Did you hear that the meteorologist who devised the wind chill factor has passed away at 86?
Oh, what?
Yeah, the meteorologist that came up with the wind chill factor died at the age of 86. He felt like 75. The wind chill. It was the wind chill.
Yeah, I got you.
Are you telling another one?
Yeah, you want to do one more?
Okay.
My wife actually just a minute ago, she got on a call with somebody and she had to explain, like, my husband is doing dad jokes right now. She's in a business meeting. She has to excuse her idiot husband. All right. I used to think, Deacon.
Yeah.
I used to think I was indecisive.
Yeah.
I used to think I was indecisive, but
Yeah.
now I'm not so sure. Just a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. All right. Why is the letter C afraid of the rest of the alphabet?
I don't know. Why is the letter C?
Because all the other letters are not C's.
Oh, that's
a terrible one.
Right.
That's terrible.
Bye, everybody. We'll be back Monday. Rumble.com/internetdads. Find us on X as well. Wait, bye.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your dog